Welcome back to another episode of the Playbook Sports Podcast presented by Playbook Sports. As always, I am your host, Jordan. With me today is the writer for the Playbook Sports Network, Zak Sadik. Zak, what's up, my boy?
Not much, man. Having a great day. How are you doing?
Good. It was your birthday yesterday. Everybody,
Yes,
when you listen, happy belated birthday to Zak. He's 106 now.
a lot older than you are, so enjoy the time.
So, I've been doing a lot of podcasts lately. Said it on the last one. Everybody wants to talk about the Miami Heat. I don't want to fucking talk about the Miami Heat. The Florida Panthers are playing for a Stanley Cup right now. I just can't get anybody on the fucking face of the planet to come on here and talk Panthers with me, so we'll talk Heat. You just wrote an article. Fantastic. Top 5 trade targets. Oh, boy. We know people love the trade talk.
It's that time of year, man. The Heat are eliminated. It's time for trade talk.
We're just going to go down the list. I saw you gave us a why, you gave us a how, you gave us an easy option, an easy way to make the trade happen. We're not even going to talk about the fucking easy way because nothing's ever that easy.
Never.
First trade option, everyone's favorite, Donovan Mitchell. You and I have been on this podcast. Can't even tell you how many times we've talked about Donovan Mitchell. Coming to the Heat, perfect fit. I would sell my organs for him. I would sell my sister, my mother, my father. I would sell. The cats are eating, so that I'll let them live right now. How can we get Donovan Mitchell? I see here you said Tyler Hero, Jaime Jaquez, 2024 first, 2029 first.
Yeah, so you'll notice a theme with all the trades that they both every single trade includes all the picks that the Heat can trade because they have 2 tradable picks right now. I think once July hits, they have a third one they can trade, but then they would have already used this year's pick, so it's kind of a conundrum there. So you got to give something to get something, and you just with all these guys, you're gonna have to unload the clip. So every trade has the picks included in it. But yeah, like you said, Donovan Mitchell, ever since it was a possibility a couple years ago, I mean, it seems like he'd be the perfect fit. He's already a really close friend with Bam Adebayo. I think he shares. It's not an agent, right? It's a coach with Jimmy Butler, a shooting coach. I think it was Brickley, yeah. So I mean, there's relationships there, and just the way he plays the game is it feels like he's the perfect missing piece to what the Heat have been lacking. So he's that go-to scorer. He's that primary ball handler. He's a wing that can shoot. He's a wing that can. He's a 3-level scorer. He could pretty much do it all. And when you put him next to a guy like Bam and hopefully a guy like Jimmy, fingers crossed. I didn't touch on it in the article, but hopefully Jimmy's here next year.
Yeah, I would have killed somebody.
If you put him in between those two guys, that's a crazy, 3-headed monster that, I'm not sure who'd be able to beat them in a 7-game series. So, because we've already seen what Bam and Jimmy can do alone. You throw in Donovan Mitchell, who's, back in the bubble went tit for tat with Jamal Murray, 50-point games back to back to back. So, I mean, I think that he's just a perfect fit. And, the big question a couple years ago was, is he better enough than Tyler Hero to give up all the stuff that you need to get him? And I think the last couple of years have shown that, yes, he is. Tyler was still kind of on that trajectory 2 years ago, but he's kind of plateaued since then.
Mm-hmm.
Donovan Mitchell is definitely the better player. He's definitely more of a win now player. Not saying Tyler can't get there, but if you have the opportunity to get it, you put all your chips in the middle of the table and get it done.
I think this is the best option because they did mention that they're going to look for a player like that, an all-star level player that fits Bam Adebayo's timeline. I think they're the same age. They came in the same draft, right?
I think so. It may be 1 year apart, but they're very similar in age.
So right there, it's a no-brainer at that point. You are correct about Tyler Hero. He plateaued, and I'm sick and fucking tired of every season talking myself into this is the year Tyler Hero's an all-star. I'm sick of it. I love him. I like him. I wish him the best. If he's here, I'll root for him. If not, I'll still root for him. It's time to move on. Yeah. If I have to drive him to the airport, as Ray would say, I will do it.
I mean, if he's in the right situation, where he's I don't know what the right situation would be for him, whether he's, a number 3, and just hypothetically, I'm not saying this is a thing, but if he were to go to Boston, he might be able to flourish the way that Derek White did. Or if the best situation could be a team like the Wizards, where he can just go there, be a looter and a riot, and just get a million points because there's no other option on the team. I don't know which option is, or which system is better for Tyler, but he can exceed in the right role.
I can't believe you used Boston.
It was a hypothetical. I mean, come on.
Take that hypothetical and shove it up here.
Danny Ainge wanted Tyler when he was in Boston, and the Heat sniped him. So I mean, it's, how Boston is. I'm not gonna say it, but you know how Boston is with what they like. But going back to Donovan, the main thing, the main obstacle is Cleveland obviously not wanting to let go of a star.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like they are holding on as tight as possible. They want to give him the extension. They want to keep him in Cleveland for the long haul.
But they did say that if he's not going to sign the extension, they are fully open to moving him like immediately.
That's news to me. I haven't seen that report, but
I think it came out a week or two ago.
Essentially, that's the thing. It comes down to Donovan, and like I put in the article, he has a lot of pull in this situation. It's not the Dame situation from a year ago, where Dame is under contract for 3 or 4 more years, and so it's basically just you're getting traded, and wherever you go, and you better play.
Mm-hmm.
With Donovan Mitchell, he has 1 year left on his contract when he can opt out and then leave Cleveland for nothing. So no team really wants to take on that kind of risk and trade everything for a guy that might not be there in a year. There's not many teams like the Raptors who did that with Kawhi Leonard a few years ago. They got the championship out of it, but then he dipped. So the biggest thing with Donovan Mitchell is he happy there? Is he satisfied with the team around him? Because now's the time to speak up. Now's the time to request where you want to go and get there this offseason before you sign the extension, and then you're under team control for another 4 years.
So let's talk about the package, because if it's the package you have written here in the article, I'm fucking doing it. In reality, it's not going to be that package. It's going to be more players, 100% going to be more teams. I've been seeing a lot of New Orleans, maybe Caleb Martin gets signed and traded somewhere. Jovic probably is going to be in one of these. Hero, maybe Rozier, who knows? What would a package look like for like a 3-team deal, say with New Orleans?
So I don't know what New Orleans would want in this scenario. I could see a 3-team trade that includes a team that has cap space, whether that's the Thunder, who I think would be a really intriguing landing spot for Tyler Hero. They have cap room to just absorb him. I know that Philly has cap room, but they're going whale hunting, so they're going for Paul George. And if Paul George fails, they're going for Jimmy Butler, and it's a whole thing. But I don't think they're looking at secondary pieces right now.
Does Indiana have cap space?
I don't know. I know Orlando has cap space, and that's been a rumor for a while as well for Tyler. Apparently, they like Tyler. So the thing is, you could make this trade happen with 2 teams. I don't know the 100% clear logistics of it. I'm just a trade machine guy. I play with the contracts, and if it matches, it's good to go. So I don't know much about the new second apron yet. So there may be some changes with that. But if Cleveland wants the benefit of picks and young players, but also not wanting to take back a lot of salary, which could be an option, you can do something where you send Tyler or Terry to another team to kind of release that stress from Cleveland. And so that could be an added bonus if they don't care for the players. They just want the salary cap relief. You can kind of send the big contracts there, send the picks and young players to Cleveland, and then Donovan Mitchell to Miami. So it's possible. It's very possible it could be a 3-team trade. Miami loves those. But it's kind of like shooting fish in a barrel, trying to figure out what team would be open to joining in and what they'd be getting out of it.
All right, so let's get on to this next one, which I fucking hate. Kevin Durant. Yeah. That's another one. I'm sick of hearing about it. I don't want to be the only one to say it, but I will because I have no problem being the villain. This dude is falling off. Everybody thinks he's so elite. If he comes here, championship favorites. I don't see it anymore. Dude just got shunned by Anthony Edwards. He's always injured. He fucking ruins teams. Look at fucking Phoenix right now. Look at them.
Brooklyn.
What are they gonna do? They're screwed.
Yeah, Brooklyn.
Screw every team he touches. It's like Harden. Every team these players touch gets ruined. Kyrie broke the curse. Kyrie's elite again. What do these two, Harden and Durant, have to go to a finals for me to believe that they're still elite? And Durant's losing time like he's losing his hair.
And the thing is, Durant or Kyrie, he accepted the number 2 role. I don't know. I think Harden and Durant are still kind of fighting those allegations.
I fucking hate James Harden. I don't hate Kevin Durant. I want to make that clear. I wouldn't trade a farm for him.
Yeah.
People, like, I understand, going to get this whale and everything. I'm one of those that wants the whale, but I don't want to give up my entire bench because we all see, like, you can have like a star heavy top 5, but if everything else sucks, you're getting swept in the first round of the NBA.
That doesn't work anymore. What was the last big 3 that worked?
Exactly.
Miami?
Kyrie, Luka, and Derek Lively. That's the last one that worked.
It's a big 2, and then a bunch of solid role guys. That's how you win in today's league. Look at the Celtics with the Jalen and Jason, and then you got Luka and Kyrie on the other side. It's coming down to get your 2 guys and then fill out the best fitting role players around them. But when it comes to Kevin Durant, and I know it feels a lot like 2 years ago, talking about Donovan or Durant come to Miami, but the caveat here is Phoenix would have to want to fix things for this to be an option. As I kind of go into in the article, they are in cap hell. They need a lot of help, I guess, to become flexible in order to create a team, not a top heavy 3-headed mess. And so they'd have to show a desire to want to get out from under that boulder. And I'm not sure if their owner is ready to do that. He's the guy that's been stomping his feet to, dump the farm for Durant and then trade for Bradley Beal.
He is so, I think I said it to Royal one day. He's so invested into this fuck up that he can't back out. He just has to keep on digging and digging and digging until he finds China or something. He's
trying to throw money at it, but it's impossible. He's a newer owner, and it's a lot like a 10-year-old playing NBA Live or NBA 2K nowadays. It's just like, oh yeah, I want to get the biggest stars, not paying attention to what the money aspect is of it.
He wants to be like a less intelligent Steve Ballmer.
Right, exactly. That's a solid point. And so, if his financial advisors are telling him, hey, listen, like this is a mess, we need to clean this up, or else you're going to be this far into the tax and you're still not going to make it past the first round of the playoffs or whatever the case is, just kind of really like explain to him the gravity of the situation. He could decide maybe, okay, we'll trade one of these guys, we'll flip him for a couple of role players and some draft picks to try to get out from under this hole. The new second apron, I mean, it's just going to ruin that team or drain his bank account. It's just going to be so punitive to have those 3 guys for the next couple of years. So if he decides to trade one of those guys, and I kind of lay out the process of elimination in the article, but in my opinion, if I'm in his situation, I'm thinking about this as the Phoenix Suns owner, thinking rationally. Kevin Durant is probably the guy that I try to get rid of. He's the guy that holds more value than Bradley Beal. You're not getting anything for Beal.
Nobody's going to want Beal because of the no trade clause. And you are correct. If I have to choose between Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, it's literally a no-brainer. Even 3 years ago, it's still a no-brainer to me.
So no one's trading for Bradley Beal. And if they are, they're not giving up anything of value. So then what's the point of trading Bradley Beal? You're not going to trade Booker. And Durant I think he's turning 35, or he is 35.
I think he's
still
turning
putting
36.
Still putting up 28 points a game. Like, this is the year to cash in on him if your team isn't succeeding. You trade, you get what you can, and then you try to figure out the rest with the other guys. So if you trade I think in this offer, I put in Rozier instead of Tyler.
Terry, Duncan, Jaime, Jovic, 2024 and 2029 first round picks.
So that gives them a couple role guys, and that's keeping Tyler in Miami because I'm assuming they like Devin Booker at their two guard. So you put a scoring point guard like Terry Rozier, who can give you 20 points a game, plus the role players like Jovic and Jaquez and draft picks that they don't have at all in the next couple of years. I think that's a solid haul for them, and it would help them with their kind of retooling around those other stars.
I like how when I read it, I wanted to be into it, but I'm not. So fuck you.
It gives you a short window. It gives
Your next one. Your next one, I'm into, and I know you've been like calling for it for a couple years. DeJounte Murray. I think he is probably just below Donovan Mitchell in like perfect fit. Donovan Mitchell's a perfect fit in the sense of the offense. DeJounte Murray is a perfect fit in the sense that he can lock anybody up
all around,
and he can score 20 if we need him to.
Yep.
He's just not that scorer that will take the load off of Jimmy like Donovan is. DeJounte Murray is more of like an Eric Spoelstra guy, though. Donovan Mitchell's more of a Pat Riley guy.
Right, for sure. I 100% agree with you. I mean, think of DeJounte Murray as, I think he's better than Drew Holiday, but that kind of player where he's not a superstar per se, but he's probably one of the best role players or best third guys you can have in the league.
He's like a sub-star. That's what I call him. Like sure. Drew Holiday's a sub-star to me.
Right. And so, he's not going to be, giving you 30 point per game seasons, but he's going to give you 20 points a night. He's going to get you 7 or 8 assists, depending on his role, maybe less if he's not.
Rebounds.
8 rebounds.
He's always at the top 5 in steals.
Yep. And he's a solid defender. So he, like you said, he's a Spoelstra guy. If you put that guy in Spoelstra's system, he becomes an elite player in his role. I'm not saying he's a superstar, 30 points a game, whatever. He becomes elite in his role. So I really like the idea of adding him next to Jimmy and Bam. Like you said, the one thing is he's not as much of an offensive force as Donovan is, but he's an all-around player. He's basically a point guard in a shooting guard's body, so he is a distributor. But he would be a great fit with those guys. You'd have to make sure that you have offense coming from all around, not just focusing on him.
This one would be nice too because we would finally have a taller point guard. Normally we go after these point guards that are like 6'1", 6'2", small, really scrawny, except for Kyle Lowry because it's all in his tush. I think he's like 6'6".
Yeah, I think he's 6'5" or 6'6". I mean, imagine the switching possibilities.
Exactly.
Him and Bam switching off, and there's no difference. Like, oh my God.
This is last year. This trade probably could have went through Tyler Hero and then both the first round picks. Now I think that they've been talking about trading Trae Young, but they see a lot more teams would prefer DeJounte Murray. Their asking price for Murray is probably like going up and up and up. I don't think you'd have to involve a third team, but you would definitely have to add one of Jaquez or Jovic into this deal to make that happen. And I'm curious which one would you prefer it to be?
Which one would I prefer it to be? Let's see, we're getting DeJounte Murray. We have Jimmy, Bam. In that case, I would probably send Jaquez if I had a choice. You still do. I mean, I truly love them both. I see the potential in both. If anything, I'm more of a fan of Jaquez.
Mm-hmm.
I love how polished he is already, and he can be a 6th man of the year candidate in the next couple of years. But
Quinn Snyder is probably thinking the same exact thing.
Right, exactly. Atlanta probably thinks the same thing. But then you also got to consider that you have a lineup of DeJounte Murray, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, probably some other two guard if Tyler or Terry, and then like you need that 4. Caleb is probably walking. Highsmith, who knows what's going on with him? He's probably getting a bag, whether it's from us or from somewhere else. If you can develop Jovic into a starting 4, that's a solid lineup right there.
Then the backup 4 is a problem again, but
Right. But at least you have a taller player at starting 4. You can find any other 6'5" shooting guard that you want to plug in at power forward from free agency. Josh Richardson, power forward.
Stop that. I hate this Jaime and Jovic talk because, I was so against Jovic. I'm like, I don't know why every loser wants him so bad. And then, I kind of ate my words. He started to play a little good. But to say he's untouchable, to say either of these two are untouchable, you should be disgusted.
Listen, they're a break in case of emergency, Like I'll give up one in a trade without a problem. If it doesn't cross the finish line unless both are included, then you know what? It hurts, but
Depends who it's for, though.
Huh?
Depends who it's for.
Right, exactly. So
I'm not trading both of them for Durant.
Ideally, you want to keep one, but I mean, it depends on what you're getting. I would trade them both for Durant. I wouldn't trade them both for DeJounte Murray. I mean, it's the price of playing ball. You want the star. Sometimes you just got to pony up.
I will help them pack, drive them. I will pay for their airline tickets if I'm getting Donovan Mitchell. I'll tell you that for free.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Your last two were kind of like, whoa.
Kind of doozies.
Yeah. Kyle Kuzma. And I don't want to just slowly go over this one. I want you to give me a why. Like, why did you come up with this? Like, where did this one come from? Because I know people have speculated it. They'd be like, oh, he'd be a great fit. I know his asking price went down a little bit, and it's interesting. I don't know if I would trade a farm for him, but I wouldn't mind having him here.
I don't think you trade the farm, but you're going to have to give up one of the guards, whether it's Tyler or Terry, to make the.
You have to give up Tyler. He can't play with Tyler.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So the thinking is the phrase that we've been saying for years and years and years, a perfect 4 next to Bam. This is a guy that stretches the floor. He's become a better rebounder. I think he came into the league as a small forward with the Lakers, but he's really developed into a small ball 4 skill set. He likes shooting his threes. He has a solid offensive skill set, and I think that the body type and his play style would fit really well with the Heat. And again, it's another guy that if you put in Eric Spoelstra's hands, he just kind of uses it like clay, and he kind of develops into a better player. And with this pick, I was between him and Lauri Markkanen.
Who they're interested in now. So that news came out after your article.
Exactly. That news came out after my article. So it was reported shortly before I finished the article that Kuzma was going to be available in trade talks. Mm-hmm. And I didn't expect Markkanen to be available, but I expect his price tag to be a little bit higher than Kuzma's. So
I expected to be astronomically higher.
Yeah. So I mean, they both fill the same role. They both be the small ball 4. Well, Lowry's not really a small ball 4; he's a 4. But you stretch the floor, you get boards, just kind of same role there for either one.
Kuzma, I like because he has gotten bigger. The rebounding has improved. And that's what we need. We need somebody like that. My only fear is that Eric Spoelstra is going to look at him and be like, I found my backup center. That's my biggest fear. My biggest fear with all of these is oh, Donovan Mitchell, I found my backup small forward.
Yeah, play them too big, bigger than they need to be.
Yeah. Okay. This last one. I don't know where this one came from. Darius Garland and Jared Allen. It confused me. Am I into it? Fuck yeah, I am. I kind of like that a lot. I don't know if the Bam Jared Allen pairing would work. Unless Bam truly commits to developing this 3-point shot and jump shooting and everything.
The thing is, while I was, researching the Donovan Mitchell situation and seeing, trying to read the most up to date reports about if he's available for trade or if he's, locking in his contract extension before I, wasted time writing an article about it. I noticed that there's kind of a crossroads between, at the Cavs organization right now. They want to keep Donovan because they see him pairing with Mobley, which is it's not Katino Mobley, Evan Mobley, and so they.
Mobley's in his like 50s.
Exactly. I've been playing a lot of 2K back in the 2000s. Like he's in the game, but so they like Evan Mobley. They want to move forward with him, and they like Donovan Mitchell. There's been reports that Mitchell and Garland may not be the best on-court fit according to their organization. And if Mitchell signs the extension, they're going to look to trade Garland. And then with eyes toward next year and extending Mobley, they might look to move Jarrett Allen and save some money there. Because Jarrett Allen, I mean, he's a good player, but he is probably making a bigger salary than he would on most teams.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's $20 million a year. So, again, it's something that I talked myself into. I'm like, oh, okay, so Garland might be available. And Jarrett Allen might be available too. And if Cleveland decided, hey, you know what, let's kill two birds, one stone. Let's use Garland's value to get rid of both of these guys, get a solid haul back. It might help both sides. They might want a second team or a third team again, like with when we discussed Mitchell, to kind of offset some of the salary incoming, so they don't have to worry about that. But it really lets them press reset. They get their core. They have Mitchell and Mobley moving forward with maybe Jovic or Jaquez or whatever the case is, and some picks. And then the Heat get a solid starting five, a starting five that we haven't seen. As far as roles, we haven't seen since pre-2010.
This one's weird. I feel so, like I just said, I feel like the Bam Allen thing is clunky. I personally, this is me, I don't think Darius Garland's anywhere near superstar level. I don't think he will reach that.
No, he's a solid player. Average
he's a solid player.
20 and 8 for 2 out of the last 3 years.
Granted, I'm reading your trade package, and that's if it's 2-team trade. I think these three I think Hero, Rozier, Jaquez, and both picks is a little bit much for something like that, because again, you have to take in Jarrett Allen's contract, which is kind of stupid at this point, considering that he can only play in the paint.
Right.
Now, if I can take one of those picks out and I can take one of the guards out, like if I can keep, say, I think Terry Rozier, Darius Garland, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, I have no problem paying Jarrett Allen that much money to be at my backup. I have no problem with it. Then we're talking. And then, say it's a third-team trade, we get a little scraps to add to the bench. Eric Spoelstra found this scrub that nobody thought would be anything, and now he's averaging 18 off the bench. Typical Eric Spoelstra shit. So that one, that's why I liked it. It was confusing, but it made me think. I was like, okay, well, it can't be a one-team trade. It's got to be like a 2-3-team trade. Oh, well, if we take that out and we do this, and then this will fit with that. It's interesting. I like that you were thinking about it.
I mean, it's definitely not likely, but it's an option. Usually you don't see multiple, I guess, I wouldn't want to call them stars, but multiple like notable players getting shipped off of one team at the same time. Usually, they're dished out individually. But the way that I look at it is, if you're getting a guy like Darius Garland, who's also a bigger kind of point guard, it kind of reduces your need for the Tyler Heroes, for the Terry Roziers, and you're keeping Duncan, so you still have the shooting there. So it becomes, do you need those guys if you have a Darius Garland on your team, who's a true point guard?
Darius Garland would unleash more of a Terry Rozier, because, like I said, I'm done talking myself into Tyler Hero, so I'm going to only talk about Terry. Terry struggled a little bit when he got here because he was focusing on like handling the ball, initiating the offense. You don't need to do that with a guard like Darius Garland. He does that stuff. That's why he was drafted that high, because he can initiate an offense. You're giving Terry Rozier the opportunity to play off the ball and only get buckets. That's what he does.
Yeah.
That's why he averaged so much. That's why Charlotte threw a bag at him. They're like, we need a bucket getter.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. And then when it comes to Allen, you don't want to know what it looks like when Bam has a true center next to him and he has to expand his offensive game. Mid-range shots, 3-point shots, you wouldn't want to see that development.
I would love to see it, but I'm thinking of it as of like what I just saw. Fuck it. Let's do it because it worked with Myers Leonard. It could work with this douchebag.
I think Spoelstra likes having those rim protecting centers. It's just not something that he's been able to get these last couple years. I mean, look at what he did with Hassan Whiteside, bro. Like for the first, 2 or 3 years of his career in Miami, bro, he led the league in rebounds. He led the league in blocks. He was averaging a double-double. Obviously when he got paid, he shit the bed. But, I mean, what Spoelstra was able to do with a second-round draft pick cast-off that was going to be playing in China, like he completely resurrected his career, got him paid, and had him putting up huge numbers. I think Spoelstra likes having a big center. He just hasn't had that luxury the last couple of years.
I was going to end it there, but, since the Lauri Markkanen news came out, what do you think about that? What would a trade package for Lauri Markkanen look like?
I don't remember his exact cap number, but I have a feeling it's mid-20s or higher 20s. So it would probably be Tyler and the picks, and then maybe you throw in Jovic because they want to replace that stretch 4 position on their team.
Markkanen, 4 years, $67 million.
So it's probably around mid-20s. You got to go to the trade machine. They have the accurate numbers here. Let's see what we got.
I never opened that, and I never will.
You've never opened it? Well, good. It's addictive. You would get sucked into it.
No, I don't want to fucking do that. I want to watch the Florida Panthers win a Stanley Cup.
Lauri Markkanen, $18 million, and he has 1 year left on his deal, which is probably why this is coming up.
Okay. Now it makes sense.
Because they want to move him before they lose him for nothing, and I don't know if they want to build around him.
Well, Danny Ainge is going to be a douchebag with us, so it could be doable, but I don't see this happening just because of those two.
I mean, so Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson's contract works. I would assume they'd want a Tyler Hero though, or Perry. Are you doing one of those two guards plus both picks for Lowry?
I would do Tyler, Duncan, one of the kids, all the picks for Lowry, and you could throw in Chris Dunn. Get a defensive backup point guard.
Sexton, does he have any value?
I would love Sexton, but I don't think they would let him go. Well, I don't think they would trade us, Lowry and Sexton.
Yeah. That was their package for Donovan. Full circle. We've gone full circle.
That would be hilarious.
But yes,
if Lauri Markkanen is actually available, he's up to second on my list below Donovan Mitchell of wants.
I can see that. I'd probably put him right there in front of Kuzma, under DeJounte. I think he does fill a huge hole for the Heat. But then it comes down to, I think it's still Danny Ainge in Utah, right? Like he's gonna hold out for a king's ransom. Mm-hmm. Maybe he still wants Tyler. Maybe if you can do Tyler, Jovic, and the 2 picks, I'd probably take that. I would.
I think Tyler would be a good fit there too. Say they let Sexton go. They got Keontae George, who's a stud, and he's a point guard. So you have a point guard like that, and then you pair him with Tyler Hero. Like now, that's somewhere that Tyler Hero could prosper because if you let Lauri Markkanen go, they need scoring. So Tyler can step into that scoring role, which he thinks he can do. He's in the same conversation as Luka Doncic, apparently.
There you go. You put him on that team, that dumpster fire of an offense without Markkanen. He could average 25 a game.
He won't, but he could.
It's a possibility.
No, it's not. All right, Zach, that's all I got. Awesome article. before we go, let's be honest. We're keeping Tyler Hero, and he's going to be our starting 2 guard next year, isn't he?
If we're being honest, we're keeping Tyler 50-50 on Jimmy returning. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
No, he's staying.
Here's a question. And
no, fuck you.
Listen, I'm not saying that I want this. I'm saying if Jimmy wants the bag,
Give it to him.
He could leave next offseason for free. He has a player option in 2 years. He can leave next offseason. We get nothing. If he says, I want my money or I'm leaving, because we know how he can be. We saw him in Minnesota and the other places that he's gotten out of. If he says, I want my money or I'm out, are you trading him to Philly for 3 first-round picks?
No, I'm paying him.
No cash in return.
I'm paying him.
You're paying him.
I'm paying him.
What if the Heat don't want to pay him?
Then fuck him. Learn from your mistakes. Pay your superstars. Take care of them. That's what fucks you. When you don't take care of these guys that do everything for your franchise, people look at you and be like, well, okay, is it worth the no taxes that they're just going to fucking let me walk if I fucking save their team? Mm-hmm. We were in hell without him. He came here and he brought us back to the promise.
Yeah.
And now we're just going to let him fucking go. I'm going to fucking lose it. I'm going to freak out. I swear to God. I hate this fucking – I have tried to stay out of it on Twitter. I don't like getting into it with anybody on Twitter, okay, because then I have to keep going. My phone keeps vibrating. I get annoyed. I don't like to be bothered. Leave me alone. I like my alone time. Take care of your superstars. I understand. Tyler Hero, he can go. Bam Adebayo, take care of him. Jimmy Butler, take care of him.
The thing with Jimmy, though, is like I understand the team's perspective as well, based on what Pat Riley said. If you're paying a guy a max contract to play 60 games and then get hurt before the playoffs, like that's not ideal. I like the idea of an incentive-based contract where you're paying him a certain level, and then let's say he exceeds the incentives and he plays all 82 games or 75 games or whatever it is, and we make the playoffs and he plays in the playoffs and then he gets the full max. That's fine with me, but it would be hard to swallow paying 37-year-old Jimmy Butler $60 million to play half of a season. Like that is a hard pill to swallow.
Use some water. Swallow it. Ethan explained it in a good way. I don't remember because I'm telling you, I have not listened or talked anything Heat. He said the extension's not a big deal because they're going to have to pay him next year anyway, regardless of extension or not. It would just be like they said like a $3 or $4 million raise and then an extra year. So you're not paying him like this fucking $200 million.
But do you want to delay salary cap freedom when Jimmy's going to be 37 making $60 million?
I want Jimmy Butler to stay. I think I'm in love with him. I am in love with him. I have a lot of his jerseys. I have portraits in my room. I don't want to go through this again. I went through this with Hassan Whiteside. I got a Hassan Whiteside jersey because my mom hates me. And then a month later, he was traded. And I looked at her and I said, this was the worst birthday I've ever had. That was worse than when they bought me a Boston Celtics jersey and I cried.
Oh, my God. What a horrible gift. Was that a gag gift?
No. When me and your brother used to hang out, I used to watch Rajon Rondo videos because I was like, I'm going to be a point guard in high school. And my mom used to see that, so she bought me a Rajon Rondo jersey, and I looked at her. I was like, you think I'm putting that thing on my body? You like him. I go, Mom, return it right now.
Oh,
so you know what she got me? A LeBron James Heat jersey. My mom hates me. There's no way she likes me. I have to be adopted. Was
that after he left?
No, it was before. It was when he came here. But she knows I hate him. I hated him when he was here. I just.
Did you really?
Him. I've never liked him. I think he's a loser.
I feel like that's most of Lakers fans. I feel like they still haven't really embraced him.
I am very grateful for everything LeBron James did. Happy he won me 2 championships, even though he promised me 7. I don't like him. I think he's a douchebag. Now, if I saw him when I asked for his autograph, I'd ask him to sign my ass cheeks. But I don't like him.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the only fan base that truly liked him truly loved him was Cleveland the first time around. Miami loved him. Miami embraced him, but the Lakers, I know a couple Laker fan friends, and they're like, yeah, I could take him or leave him. I don't care.
Yeah, the Lakers are just like, oh, he's here. Let's fucking roll.
Yeah.
All right. I got off on a tangent. Now I'm fucking sweating. I just had a temper tantrum. We gotta go.
Because you're wearing a sweater in 95-degree weather.
Well, because I gotta fucking rep the brand. You feel me? $30, free shipping. Hit me up. I got you.
Nice
All
hoodie.
sizes, all colors. That nice plug-in. You feel me?
They're so comfy.
All right, Zach. I appreciate you, my brother. Again, happy belated.
Appreciate it. Go Ice Cats.
Yes. Go Panthers. I'm not even gonna go find the cat. Peace.
See ya.